Hello, folks. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and great Sunday evening to you all, or great fill in the date when you are watching this to you all, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. This is the 134th episode of the Political Spotlight. I'm your host, Christopher H. Bilbrey. It's great to be with you all. It's great to be seen by each and every one of you and be talking with you all. This is going to be an interesting episode, and I've just been thinking about all these different ways I wanted to do it. I was literally going to come on. Hello there, Jonathan Caldwell. I see you're here on Facebook, on the Facebooks, which is more than fine. But, Jonathan Caldwell, if you want the absolute best, most wonderful, highest technical watching experience, you need to get over to YouTube. And you need to go over to the YouTubes and check us out on YouTube. And the only reason I say that is that's where a majority of the people are commenting. So you'll be able to see just a few comments, but most of the people are on YouTube. So if you get a chance, head over to YouTube and check us out there. It's the Political Spotlight on YouTube, and it'll be wonderful. But you'll be able to comment with people. It's more of an interactive feel for everybody. So I've been thinking for a while about how I was going to do this episode tonight, and a while meaning for the last several hours yesterday, a little bit on Friday, and I was going to try and... Hello there, Jonathan Caldwell. He got here on YouTube. Look at that. God, everybody's like, it's hard for us to get over to the YouTubes. And Jonathan's like, all right, I'm already here. Shut up. Welcome. Okay, so I was going to come on and do this entire episode in an accent. Like, in my King accent, the accent that I do. So for all of you that know, most of you have watched King live in action on YouTube videos. Most of you from the Delaware County area, know of him or have heard him talk before. And he's got a little bit of a funky accent, just like a Southsider accent, went to Southside, you know how those... Brandon Rudd knows all about those Southsider accents. Brandon's a Southside graduate. Don't mind me. I went to Delta. But now all of these politicians I talk about, and that comment there is going to get my ass kicked. So here's the deal. That's not the rabbit talk. That's not the accent that I do for King, though. I can't do voices or anything like that. But I always have my own accents I do for King. And because in my brain we started calling King the Cowboy Kid Commissioner, which I am so happy he has actually said, screw it. They call me the Cowboy Kid Commissioner. I'm just going to live up to it. And he started dressing the part and looking the part. Like somewhere along the line, he's like, I am a real cowboy. I'm the Cowboy Kid Commissioner, And so that's kind of the voice I do when I do for King. I kind of pulled in like this, and, I was going to do the whole episode like this. King's got, I'm the rootin' tootin'est Cowboy Kid Commissioner there is. And I just, for the whole life of me, I just thought there's no way I'm going to be able to do an entire episode like that. So we'll try to do some of that. Kind of weird to change up like that. Yeah, right? Like all of a sudden, he was like just a regular weirdo from the south side of Muncie. And now he's like, you don't ever go full cowboy. Yeah, he like lived up to it. He's got himself like light tan police outfit. You know, I don't call it a police uniform for King. It's an outfit. It's a police outfit. And then you can see his commissioner outfit he's got here. I got me a 72-gallon cowboy hat. A true cowboy hat. Now, again, Shedtown, he's the Shedtown cowboy. I love it. Well, don't that just beat all? Oh, good Lord. So here's the Brokeback Mountain cowboy. Man, this is going to be hard to get through this entire thing. King's wearing his backwards assless chaps. Okay, so here's the thing. There's a lot of seriousness that we got to talk about. While we could spend the whole next 2 years making fun of King, we're going to have to put it together and get serious here. Okay, we're going to have to get serious because what we're going to be talking about tonight is a very serious topic. First of all, I got to say, Joey, there are so many rumors floating around, folks. We still have 1 whole week before the filing deadline's even done. All chaps are assless. I guess more or less that's true. Yeah, I guess. I don't know why they call him that then. I'm not the only person that's ever called him that. Assless chaps. I don't know. Yeah, you are right.
I think to be assless chaps, you just wear just the chaps.
Just the chaps without any other jeans or anything.
Nothing underneath, I guess.
Yeah, right. I think that might be right. That might be right, Kate. Well, that would be a horrible sight for all to see. So, I call them that to further insult anyone who wears them. Oh, God. That's hilarious. So here's the thing. I just, real quick, because I feel like I got to say this. I know I've said it a couple of times, but I've said this for so long, and it's unfortunately, it just stuck. So everyone is familiar why we call him and Shannon the Cowboy Kid Commissioners. Those two, and I don't really include Riggin in that. Riggin, then she just kind of sticking with maybe like the whole Western. She became the sleepy sister. It was kind of like the Toy Story type of thing and all that. So she just became like the sleepy sister. She's not really like sleepy. She's just asleep at what's really going on, I guess. So that fits. Anyways, the short story is everybody knows what a cowboy is. Well, for the wannabe cowboys, my mother's dad, which is a grandfather, but I normally don't call him that. It's a whole long story. There are 2 types of cowboys in his world. He calls cowboys cowboys. And for the wannabes, for the people that he says are wannabe cowboys, he calls them cowboys. So you've got cowboys, they're real, and then you've got cowboys, and they're fakes. So when I first started doing all of this and talking about King, it was on Facebook, and I was just peck. So I started referring to him. In my mind, I was calling him Cowboy Kid. I was calling him the Cowboy Kid Commissioner. And when I was typing that out, I didn't really know how to type it in a way that made it fit. Now, since then, I've talked to several people, and it could have been like, WBOY. There's various various spellings I could have done, but I didn't think about it, and it was way back when. So I just stuck with cowboy. So all of this time in my mind and in my head, when for you people and for the old Perception is Reality gang, when I was saying Cowboy Kid Commissioner, and I would be like out places and I would hear other people calling them that, not knowing that I was around, thinking I made that name up. When I started hearing that, I was like, damn, I really wish that it could have actually been the Cowboy Kid, because that's what I was truly saying. That's what I say in my head. But we are where we are. What's funny is he's bought in to the whole freaking thing. He's convinced himself that he's had this love for the old way. I've had this love for the old West all my life, and I'm telling you, he didn't. He didn't. There was a point in his life that he wasn't like this. So, that being said, King is getting ready to make a decision to either file or not to file to run for re-election. Now, let me tell you, everybody out there saying, oh, there's another week and he's not filed yet. Quit. While King's mind might be this small, his ego's this big, okay? He's got a mighty ego. There is nothing on the face of this planet that would make him not file. He's filing, period. So quit saying it. Number 2, for everybody who's saying he's going to file to run for county council. No, he is not. He is not going to run for county council. Okay? He's not going to run for county council. He is going to file to run for re-election to the commissioner's office. Period. All right? So those rumors we've killed out, because I'm telling you what, it's like, let me tell you, folks, I'm going to be really close, serious with you now. This next 3 to 4 to 5 months are going to be some of the craziest 4 or 5 months in Delaware County politics. Listen to me. I'm telling you this like you can call me on this very fact alone Nostradamus of the political realm, because I am telling you, February, March, April, May is going to be like nothing else. This is going to be a primary season for the history books. And it's going to be that way for a couple of elections, but specifically for this commissioner's race. It's already heating up. There is so much stuff swirling around. And it's going to be this way in Madison County. It's going to be that way in a couple of other areas around. I'm just telling you. I am just telling you what you watch is going to happen. I promise you it's going to happen. Okay. So let me read this here. Let me read this description I've got for you, and we'll get into it. Oh, so real quick, so you guys can see, I kind of tell you what's going on. It's county-wise, country-wise, it's going to be crazy. That's because of the presidential stuff. Obviously, I'm just talking about on the local election. But the crazy stuff for the county is going to happen more into the November election. But I'm just talking here locally in East Central Indiana for the primary election. We're going to be off the chain. So what we got here is James King in his get-up, and it looks like he happens to be in the absolutely most stunning and fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. What is he doing there? The episode is episode 134. What in Tarnation are King and the Bois doing in Sin City? And who is footing the bill? All right. So that's the title of this episode. Please, 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 if you live in Delaware County, if you have family that live in Delaware County, if you vote in Delaware County, if you work or play in Delaware County, if you have loved ones and friends or anyone else that does, share this episode with them, tag them in this episode, get this episode to them. It's going to be important. If you live outside of Delaware County, specifically if you live in Indiana, this is also going to be important because what happens here happens a lot of other places. And more importantly than that, folks, this happens everywhere. So this is a biggie. All right. Now, let me get here to this description. So the description says, oops, wrong one. The 2024 election season is in full swing here in Delaware County, Indiana already, and this year's primary election, Tuesday, May 7th, 2024, might just be one for the history books. Simply put, it's because the people are tired of the constant bullshit. The citizens are over the games, and they're therefore going to be pulling out all the stops. All of the dams are coming down and the information is flooding forward. This election is going to come down to 3 things. It's going to come down to information and who controls that information and who gets that information out. It's going to come down to perception, what the perception is of various folks, why, how, when, where, and what's going on with that perception. And lastly, and most importantly, it's going to come down to reality. For example, several rumors are already swirling around concerning information about lots of different things, but specifically, there are some rumors and what I would happen to call in my business factual rumors, or at least what looks to be factual. And right now, we're just calling them allegations. We're in the process of confirming these, but I have spoke to several folks since last Friday, all throughout the government in Muncie, in Delaware County, and all throughout all of it. A lot of people in the know who is connected to people high and low, people that have been right as far as I'm concerned before, and they are doing what they do when they confirm information to me. Okay, and it's about county officials, both elected and appointed. Okay, specifically county officials led by elected co-commissioner James King, taking trips, multiple trips to Sin City, otherwise known as Las Vegas, in the name of having fun and having a boys' week. I mean, no, in the name of economic development. Okay. Number 2, however, the perception that people have that very little actual work is getting done on these trips, and they're all being just one big vacation for King and the Bois, seems to be pretty spot on. But the problem is, even if there are some work getting done, or there was at one point or whatever, the perception is something isn't good with this. And that comes down to point 3. That leads them to the reality of it all, which is whatever is going on, not only with the yearly trips to Vegas, but now, remember back to the newspaper article here just not too long ago about a lovely trip to Italy? Remember that? Remember that trip to Italy that the commissioners went on? Well, everyone except Sherry Riggin, who's also a commissioner. All right, remember that? Well, the reality of this is people are wanting to know, hey, who's paying for all this? Because all of these trips, they all add up. These trips are costing big dollars, dollar bills, y'all. All right. And the reality of this is people are questioning, rightfully so, are public dollars being used to fund these trips? Is it all on the up and up? If so, where's the oversight? What, if anything, is the county getting out of this in an economic development type of a deal other than a hangover? Okay, that's the question. This now puts Commissioner King in the hot seat to answer some serious questions, and everybody knows how much he loves doing all of that. So that's why we're where we're at, and we have some serious questions that need to be answered, and it's time to get to it. Okay, so first and foremost, I want to show you guys something that bizarrely, okay, I was watching this on Friday, and like I couldn't make this up if I wanted to. You will all be like, yeah, right, this isn't true. You're making this up. But there's one person out there that knows I am telling the truth. Fortunately for everyone's sake, that person is in an undisclosed location. But I want to show you something here just briefly. And this is very true. It's Friday afternoon. I'm sitting around, just not doing much. Matter of fact, I think I was at my grandparents' house, and I was killing a little bit of time, and I was watching something that someone sent to me. And while I was watching this, I get a contact. While I get contacted, I have to pause what I'm watching on TV. All right. Now, I'm going to show you what I was watching on TV. Someone had sent me this, completely unrelated. These people were unrelated. Someone from outside of Delaware County sent me what we're getting ready to watch. And they said, look at this. Isn't this disgusting? Can you believe this? What would you do? Like if you lived up here and you were dealing with this, like, well, what would you do? And so I want to show you this. Here we go. All right. So we're going to watch this quick little story here from WGN9 Investigates out of Chicago. This is about 8 minutes. Here we go.
WGN Investigates a spending spree in the south suburbs by an unapologetic politician.
Last fall, we detailed some of the expenses billed to taxpayers, and tonight, Ben Bradley's back with new bills and new questions.
Micah and Ray, Tiffany Henyard and her team travel in style. First-class airfare, fine dining, and five-star hotels. It's in sharp contrast to the communities they represent, which have a per capita income of $29,000 a year, and 20% of the population lives below the poverty level.
I am in the White House.
Tiffany Henyard has a taste for travel. There she is, front and center at the White House at a meeting for mayors this month.
I'm here taking care of the people's business.
It's how she travels that caught our eye.
I shouldn't have to sit up here and break all this down.
Henyard serves as the mayor of Dalton and supervisor of Thornton Township, two elected positions that earned her more than $287,000 in 2022. But here's what happens when you ask her about how she spends taxpayer money.
I do not handle anything as relates to with credit cards. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting about, I do not handle that.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas?
Look at this.
What is that?
No comment.
You don't know if you were in Las Vegas?
Of course I do.
Were you?
It's not paid by them.
Did you fly first class to Las Vegas?
Any other questions?
Political strife is a fact of life in local government here.
You the ones that's costing the village money.
I don't have that call.
All right. Okay.
Well, she's supposed to, you wanted her to expound? Don't drag out the meeting.
I made a motion.
As we've reported, public meetings frequently devolve into chaos. Municipal bills don't get paid. Several employees have sued, claiming retaliation, and some business owners claim Henyard targets her opponents. Tiffany Henyard's spending and self-promotion are big issues here. Her face is everywhere, from government mailings
This is gross.
to billboards.
This is
Those
absolutely
signs
gross.
cost taxpayers more than $22,000.
Again, the people.
Oh, yeah.
She's also something of a social media star.
God chose me. You may have hired me, but God chose me.
Somebody knows something. Don't nobody know nothing? Leave me alone.
I don't think she's fit to be a mayor. I think she really want to be a reality television star.
Nikita Cloud was Tiffany Henyard's chief of staff in Dalton for less than a year. We spoke with her after WGN Investigates first exposed how Henyard and other officials spent thousands of dollars on trips, meals, and more that they've refused to explain. Now, a new batch of records from Thornton Township shows the spending spree hasn't slowed. Credit card charges show that in just 5 months, township taxpayers footed the bill for more than $23,000 in restaurant meals statewide, including this upscale winery
Ridiculous.
chain and this steakhouse near O'Hare.
Ridiculous.
Then there's the travel. Records show township officials spent more than $67,000
Yes.
on trips to Portland, Austin, Atlanta, and New York City. Many of the flights were first class. So were the accommodations. In Atlanta, they stayed at the Four Seasons, costing taxpayers more than $9,000. In New York, the bill
No
came to
kidding, Ryan.
$13,000 for a stay in Times Square. Nikita Cloud wasn't on
Look
those
at this.
trips, but has been to many meals with Henyard and her
It
cronies.
sucks.
She's-
This girl, the girl that's helping, her name's Nikita Clown. I just wish it was the other way around. I wish the mayor's name was Nikita Clown, and that would be so much better because we could call her Mayor Clown. I wish that would be. This was what a horrible situation. I wish we could flip their names. Go ahead.
Says have no qualms about using public money for private enjoyment.
Over the top meals, lobster, crab legs. She liked the good stuff.
And when
Cloud.
we were with
Oh, damn, it's Cloud. Never mind. Oh, well.
her at these meals, was government business discussed?
No.
Henyard and her allies have defended the spending, claiming the trips are for conferences or to help recruit new businesses.
Listen,
Do you know the government purpose of any of that travel?
No, I really don't.
Chris Gonzalez is the last remaining Henyard opponent on the township board.
And what happens when you ask?
Nothing. Really, just no answers. I don't have any comment on that.
Trustee Jerry Jones was on that first-class trip to New York.
Still don't have a comment.
Sir, you're a trustee.
But once again, I don't have a comment.
We went to a recent township meeting to get answers.
Dude, Bilbrey, how you feeling?
listen.
That's Keith Freeman. He's Henyard's advisor at the township, village administrator in Dalton, and he's also the registered agent of Tiffany Henyard Cares.
But there's no foundation in the state of Illinois moving like we moving and shaking and grooving like we doing. Right?
That's right.
Henyard's namesake charity claims to support cancer patients and has benefited from public money, but has failed to file required paperwork showing where any of its money goes. The Illinois Attorney General is now threatening legal action.
How come you don't respond to my emails?
There you go. There you go. Huh? There you go. That's all you're getting from me. That's all you're getting from me today.
How come the charity hasn't filed its financial disclosures about how money was spent?
Watch.
How would I know that?
How would I know
That's a
that?
good question, though.
That's a good question.
A question we had hoped to pose to Tiffany Henyard, but the township meeting was abruptly canceled 30 minutes after it was scheduled to begin. Henyard was in the house, but went out a back door with Freeman in her wake.
Keith, we'd like to talk to you or Supervisor Henyard about some of the questions. You've been the township assessor for more than 10 years now.
Right.
Would you call this a functional government?
Watch this.
Not totally.
Not totally.
Transparent?
Not really.
Are you concerned about how money is being spent?
Yes.
Here's what happened when we questioned Henyard in November.
All right. Any other questions?
So you're not going to answer how taxpayer dollars are being spent? That seems odd.
I just answered it. What do you mean? I just answered your questions.
You said you wouldn't answer about Las Vegas.
You asked me a question and I responded. So any other questions you may have?
I'll keep asking questions and unfortunately not getting answers, but I'm not going to stop.
While Henyard hasn't responded to our detailed questions for weeks, a public relations firm retained by the township emailed yesterday to say many of the meals are for seniors and community events, and the travel builds partnerships and attracts investment. The PR firm, though, offered no details. Tiffany Henyard's township office pays her well over $200,000 a year. She and her allies recently passed a law that says if she's reelected, she'll keep receiving that amount. But if someone new takes over, their pay will shrink to just $25,000 a year, a move many say will discourage people from challenging Henyard for her job.
But you're not done.
All right, folks. So that is what I listened to last Friday. And I just got to say, that's very disgusting. It's very horrible. It's very, 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 very bad. And like it made my blood boil, as it should make any other person's blood boil. You know, it's gross. And the thing is, like, for that instant that I'm thinking, like, God, I wish I lived up there because I would cause that woman all kinds of hell and we would expose all of it. But then it's like it snaps me out of it. And I realize the population, whoever asked, is 20,941. 20,941. We don't need to live up there to be all crazy, folks. We don't need to be we don't need to go up there and to be a part of that. If you are mad, if you just watched that and you're pissed off, you can do that very same thing here at home. For those of you that live in Muncie, for those of you that live in Delaware County, for those of you that live in Anderson and Madison County and Newcastle and Henry, hey, look at this. Very few people are talking about that deal in Henry County. Listen to what just happened to a woman in the Henry County jail. Excuse me, in the Henry County jail for a minor misdemeanor issue related to a mental health crisis. Listen to what they did to her. The people down there should be throwing that town upside down. They should be marching in the streets. All right? It's absolutely insane. Now, in the middle of what we were just watching, now, if you're interested in seeing more on her, you can type in Tiffany Henyard, Dalton Mayor, Dalton Supervisor, stuff like that. And you can find there's like 10 more videos about her and about various other aspects. While I was watching the middle of that, I get a call on my cell phone. Someone says, hey, do you have a little bit of time? I said, yeah. And they said, okay, I need to talk to you about something. I said, okay. And the person said, were you aware? The person asked me if I knew what the SHOT Show was. And I'm like, yes, bro. I know what the SHOT Show is. I'm a gun nut. I'm aware of what the SHOT Show is. One of my friends works in a gun store. They were just there. Kate Niles was at the SHOT Show last year. Okay. Well, Ryan, get ready to listen to what I'm getting ready to tell you. So, the rumors that are floating around is this. I was asked if I knew that King attended the SHOT Show, and I was like, when? This year? Last year? And they said, like, every year. And I was like, okay. And then I was informed that it wasn't just King. It's James King. Now, I'm going to pull this up here and let you guys see this here. Just real quick. Hold on one second. Okay. Yeah, right here. I got to pull it up. Share. ECI Regional Planning District. Okay. What is, in case you don't know, what is the ECI Regional Planning District? Our mission is to serve local governments of Blackford, Delaware, Grant, and Jay County by fostering a vision for regional economic growth throughout grant writing, facilitating infrastructure improvements, supporting economic development, and promoting quality of life and community enhancements. Okay. Well, that's really cool. All right. Who's here? What's the deal? Let's look at all right, Delaware County. All right, because that's all we particularly care about right here. All right, so they've got a lot of interesting things here. It looks like all this really neat stuff. Okay, let's look at this. Board members. Okay, who's the board members? James King, Jessica Piper, Rob Kiesling, Tom Borchers. All right, King, Piper, Borchers are all elected officials. Ridenauer is a elected official. Rick Glob, Randy Dunnick, Steve Brogan. All right, so we've got all these just people here. All right, and we want to go up here and look at staff and board. All right, let's look at staff and board. So, who's this gentleman? If you don't know. This is, as a lifelong resident of East Central Indiana, William Bill Walters and his wife have raised 5 boys, currently ranging in age from 26 to 37. Bill has an extensive history of volunteer work, serving on 2 school boarding corporation boards. Bill's most cherished position have included coaching both elementary and middle school basketball and baseball teams, and serving as the president of the school athletic boosters. In addition to his volunteer work with the school system, Bill has served 2 terms on the Daleville Town Council. In his hometown of Daleville, Bill gained extensive experience in public administration by overseeing and managing operations of the municipal street and garage departments. Okay, now keep in mind, this man's from Daleville. So right there, that connects him to James King. Okay. Next up is, oh, look at this. Brad Bookout. Brad Bookout works here at the ECI Regional Planning District. Okay. And we've got Michelle Batters and, a couple of other folks. So, interestingly enough, the phone call told me that King goes to these SHOT shows in Las Vegas. It happens in Las Vegas every year. And he goes there with Bookout and with Walters. Okay, Bill Walters. Another thing I want to show you guys. Give me 1 second here. Let me pull this up here and get it transferred over so you guys can check this out. All right. This is going to be a situation, folks, where we're going to bring in a lot of puzzle pieces and we're going to put the puzzle pieces together, and we're going to do that as a team. You, me, all of us, we're going to put these puzzle pieces together, And then at the end of the puzzle, we're going to see if it matches some kind of a picture, if it makes a picture. Now, as I've told you all before, and as I heard a very, very excellent lawyer say one time in the courtroom, a lot of times in situations like this, when we put these puzzle pieces together, it might be 1,000-piece puzzle, but we only might have 800 some pieces. We might be missing, 200 some pieces. However, if you've got a scenery picture of hot air balloons, and you've got 1,000-piece puzzle, and you're missing 200 pieces, if you put the 800 pieces together, even though you're missing the complete picture, you can still tell that it's hot air balloons. So we might miss some of the puzzle pieces because that's the nature of the game. But I believe that when we're done with the puzzle, we'll be able to tell what the picture is that we're looking at. All right. So I'm going to share this for you so you can see this. A second. Okay. Let me blow this up for you. All right. ECI Regional Planning District, Las Vegas trip. Okay. According to Executive Director Bill Walters, his recent trip to Las Vegas alongside Commissioner King and other law enforcement officers to the annual Shooting, Hunting, Outdoor Trade SHOT Show on January 17th through 20th was a big success. Not only did Walters attend the annual SHOT Show, but he also made an appearance at the World Concrete Show January 17th through 19th, an annual event to connect and educate buyers and sellers. The end goal of the trip was to bring even more economic opportunities to Delaware County. After the end of the week, ECI Regional Planning District was able to secure a total of 6 economic development leads. All right. Doesn't mean it turned into anything. It's just a possible lead for the county between the two events. At least 2 of these leads have followed up with ECIRPD for tours of Delaware County. These leads have the potential to bring even more economic diversity to East Central Indiana, as their organizations-based locations range from Ohio and California to France, Canada, Turkey. Stay tuned for more details, okay? Now, this, I want to make sure, give me 1 second as we look for when this, give me 1 second here. I want to, okay. So this happened to be from 2023. This thing here, because that's when it lined up with the SHOT Show being the 17th through the 20th. But the thing here is, there's several more trips than just this trip. They put this up here, and that's all there is. What came of the 6 leads? What came of the 2 leads? Okay. What's going on with that? All right. Now, as far as if any of these leads have panned out, a records request will be put into Delaware County tomorrow, and we will find out, because to my knowledge and from my sources, none of these leads have panned out. Okay. None of the leads have panned out. As Counselor Ryan Webb up here said, why couldn't one person attend these events and get the same leads? Well, of course. Of course you could do that. That makes the most sense. You don't generally send 5 people out to a very expensive place, having them spend the night for the full week in very expensive hotels, eating very expensive food, and carrying on in very expensive locales when one person could do the trick. Now, let me bring something else to your attention here. Hey, give me 1 second here. Okay, yep, right here. Here we go. Okay. This was November 7th, 2022. County Commissioner, Economic Development, trip to Italy produced prospects. Delaware County Commissioner Shannon Henry and Delaware County Economic Development Director Brad Bookout returned home October 21st from a 10-day trip to Italy. The question is, and the question I have, did Shannon Henry's wife go? Did Brad Bookout's wife go? And who funded this trip? All right. There was another trip here just recently. Give me 1 second. Okay, right here. This was just here. Yes. Delaware County Councilman Ryan Webb. This is just as much an indictment against the auditor as it is the commissioners. Yeah, and we're going to get to that. Remember, this is a puzzle. This is a puzzle, and we're putting together pieces. So stand by, because that's a very good point. Delaware County inks MOUs with Italian companies. Okay, this was written on November 1st, 2023. All right, here we've got Shannon. Here we've got King. Okay. Officials in Delaware County recently wrapped up a trip to northern Italy, and the visit proved fruitful. The county says 3 Italian companies have signed memorandums of understanding to either establish or grow their operations in the county. Delaware County Commissioners, President Shannon Henry and Vice President James King visited with 25 firms during a trip with the goal of making a case for doing business in East Central Indiana. Okay. Now, again, if a company comes here to Delaware County, that would be fantastic. It's going to be a while before we see how much of this, if anything, pans out. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. You know, signing the MOU, it can be signed and it can be undone. You know, that's not a big thing, okay? This doesn't mean anything is going to be done. It might be, but we've got to get there. The point of the issue here is Bookout went again to this. Walters went again to this. And that what I'm getting at here is, first of all, why are we sending groups of 4 and 5 men on these trips when other municipalities and governments are sending 1, possibly 2? When we're sending these 4 and 5 and 6 group of 4 and 5, 6 men, are we also sending the wives, the girlfriends, other various family members? Now, for the biggest issue, the rumor, and remember, I'm going to run this down. We're just in the early stages, but I will tell you there's enough going on with this and enough that I've looked into that I felt comfortable enough with saying it. And you know how I am. Very, 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 very few and far between times do I ever have to come back and say, whoops, I made a mistake. That wasn't true. I mean, I can count them on about 3 fingers. You know what I mean? All right. So that's very important. Very important to keep in mind. Delaware County Councilman Ryan says, Councilor Ryan Webb says, why the hell does Commissioner Sherry Riggin sit quietly and not say anything publicly about all of this bullshit? Sherry knows about all of it and says nothing. Good question. Good question. Okay. Let me tell you now the biggest issue. I'm hearing that essentially all of the expenditures of all of these trips are being paid by either 1 or 2 people or 1 or 2 credit cards. And these bills from these trips are coming back and they are being funneled to ECI, which is I showed you the ECI, okay? ECI is the economic, ECI is East Central Indiana Regional Planning District, okay? So they're going on these trips and they're coming back and they are giving their receipts, expenditures to ECI. At which point ECI is then turning around and giving those expenditures to the Delaware County auditor. That then's giving them to the Delaware County commissioners. And this is getting paid through edit. So at the end of the day, the Delaware County government is quite possibly footing the bill for all of this. Now, I'm not 100% sure that it wouldn't be possibly okay for the county to possibly foot some of this if it was all done absolutely properly by the book. The issue, however, becomes when the money from all of the whole trip is being combined and it's being presented to ECI as one slip. Here you go. And then ECI is taking it and giving it as one slip to the county government. And then the Delaware County government is paying for this under other services and contracts. Now, Delaware County Councilman Ryan Webb says, for the record, the county council does not have any say over how edit money is spent by the commissioners. We do not have oversight over the edit money. It's just like the Delaware or the Muncie City Council does not have oversight over the mayor's edit fund. Edit is paid to the city, the county. It's paid out, and it is under the control of the executive branch. So the mayor pays edit, the commissioners pay edit. Okay? Do you all remember a meeting or two ago when Delaware County Councilor Ryan Webb was saying in the county council meetings, when he was talking about expenditures that the council does pay, and he was griping about paying for things when it was fit under these very weak ass groupings that would say other services and charges, because there's no idea, no one has any idea what other services and charges are. What's other services and charges? That could be anything. I mean, you could put a hotel room there. Hell, I guess you could put a stripper there if, or a prostitute if they gave you a receipt. I'm not saying that anybody's done that, for the record. I'm being facetious. I'm just saying literally anything could go in other services and charges. Charlize, that I wish that was true. Same thing with the city. Same thing with the city. It's absolutely gross. So, this is just the very early beginning stages of this investigation. This came to me on Friday. And look, people are going to say, well, this is just politics playing politics. This is just, the political nonsense rearing its ugly head. Well, hell yes, it is. But let's be clear. That's when it would need to come up. Because obviously this could have come up last year. It could have come up 2 years ago. But you know what would happen? It would come up. Someone would bring it to my attention. I would gripe about it just like I'm doing here. I would issue record requests. It would take me months to get it. We would get it. We would realize, oh no, something shitty's happened here. I would tell you guys, we would gripe. Everybody would forget. Then the election would come and it would already have been played out. Now we have an election going. This is coming to our mind. You, Delaware County, need to decide if you're okay with this kind of nonsense and tomfoolery. Add this to the economic development agreement that was signed back in November of 2021. Add this to the way that they've treated us. Remember, tomorrow there's a closed door session. We're going to turn all the lights out. Let's turn all the lights out. We're going to do it in the dark. Okay? Imagine if this was the show. Imagine nobody would watch it. Good Lord, imagine what I could be doing in here in the dark. Who knows what I could be doing? So we need to turn some light on the subject. We need to pull the light up. We need to get it going. I'm tired of the commissioners and the council doing all of this shit under the cover of darkness. I don't know what we would do, Ryan. We don't know. I'm telling you, folks, We're at the beginning of this investigation. We have an election here in just a couple months. May 7th, 2021. 2024. Sorry, forgot what year we're in. If Delaware County wants to promote the county for new business, and professional promoting firm would probably be more cost effective. Charlize. If only anyone knew what I was really doing when the lights went out. And here's the thing. If only anyone knew what the commissioners were doing when the lights went out. If only anyone knew what Jessica Piper was doing when the lights went out. If only we knew what John Brooke was doing when the lights went out. If only we knew what was going on with Brad Bookout and Bill Walters. And you want to talk about these people, folks, and everyone's going to say, I know Bill Walters. They go to my church. He's a good guy. I know Brad Bookout. He's a clean-cut young guy. They got a beautiful family. Folks, I'm not talking about these people as people. I don't care about these people as people. Good people, great people, wonderful people, the best people. But they're not doing good for our citizens as elected and appointed figures. Let them be good people in the private sector. Let them be good people in the private sector. Politicians are not people. I want to talk to you about that phrase. That's something kind of in joking that a friend of Brandon's started saying. A friend of Brandon's started saying politicians aren't people. And Brandon said it, and we were laughing and joking with it, and I started saying it. And we put it at the end of a disclaimer, and I read it to somebody. And someone told me they didn't like it. They didn't like it. And they said, the reason I don't like it is, and they started telling me this, and I got it. I was like, okay, I could see maybe we don't want to dehumanize these people. I could see how people do that, like in violence and things like that. They want to make sure that these people are dehumanized. That's not what we're trying to do. The point behind that, and I as I was thinking about this the other night, to me it comes back to that study that I was talking to you guys about when I was talking about Henry County. There's this study. There's this study that says if you're born into power, let's talk about like the royal family. There's something that goes on that they grow up with portions of their brain growing differently than your brain or my brain. Okay. Talk about someone who was a construction worker all through high school, through college. They get out, they graduate, and when they're 23, 24 years old, they apply to the police department, and then they're the police officer for the next 35 years. Putting on that uniform and having that power, after so long, it changes the makeup of their brain. A sense of power does that to people. I'm sure it affects people who run for office. That's why it is when we say, man, I love this candidate. This guy's going to be a good guy. And they get in office, and a couple years in, they're doing all the crazy shit. And we're like, wait a minute, why did that happen? Oh, I think someone only with the strongest constitution, the strongest sense of self keep themselves. Everybody else loses themselves to the insanity of the power. And so now I'm back to liking the saying, politicians aren't people. I'm not trying to dehumanize them. I wish they could see their humanity. If they could get to the humanity, maybe they would stop this insanity. Humanity, not insanity. Maybe we need to put that on a shirt. Politicians aren't people. The B-Man just stopped by. Ryan said, other elected officials know the same things that Ryan knows. They just choose to stay quiet about it. That's very true. And it's not all the reasons why people don't like Ryan, but it's a lot of reasons why a lot of people don't. Because he does open his mouth about specific issues in Delaware County that other elected officials choose to keep quiet about. So, I am going to turn in record requests tomorrow to the Delaware County government requesting all of the receipts, all of the information about these trips, anything that the ECIRPD has done over the last, since King has been commissioner. I'm going to look backwards at all of this stuff. I'm going to dump a lot of record requests to the county tomorrow. I'm going to be sitting for the good part of the first part of the day. Actually have my grandmother is having a minor procedure tomorrow. So if everybody could keep good thoughts and prayers in their mind for her, I would appreciate that. But while we're sitting in the waiting room, I'm going to be sending out some of these record requests to the county. And I'm going to be looking into this, and we're going to be getting to the bottom of this. This is something that's going to be an investigation. It's going to take a little bit of time. We're going to dig this out. We're going to find this together. I'm telling you. We don't even need really to get to the end of this investigation. At this point, we can say it's gone on too far. It might be financially irresponsible. Is it legal? Well, so it depends on what, who, when, where, why, and how, basically. What's getting paid? How's it getting paid? Who's it getting paid for? When is it getting paid? What conditions? There's a lot that goes into it. So the first step of this is the record request. Once we have those, the next step is, and I saw that Steve made this comment, it's calling the State Board of Accounts. calling the state board of accounts and putting this all together for them. Now, I can tell you, I have had dozens and dozens, maybe hundreds of calls or emails or texts with the state board of accounts, and they are a hard organization to deal with. Kate knows about that. She's shaking her head yes and down, up and down. They're difficult to deal with. And the more work that you can bring them put together in a nice little package with a bow on top, all neat and put together, the better it is for them, the more chance you're going to get a response, the quicker it's going to take them, and the better off you're going to be. So, no, Alva, they have not. So, let me tell you, these issues are just now coming to fruition. I've heard people rumble about different things. These people going over here, they're going to Italy again. They're going to Paris. They're doing this or doing that. I've heard these things for a while. But quite honestly, until it was thrown into my lap on Friday, I didn't know that it was the organizational setup as it was. And I didn't know it was as big as it was. So I didn't even know to look into it. So, to my knowledge, the Star Press hasn't. I agree with Charlize. I do not believe that they have the staff to do so. Anybody could call and type up the record request and send them in like I'm doing. But we see how they operate on most normal things. So, what we need to do is send in these record requests. I'm doing that tomorrow. Then we're going to continue digging, continue talking to sources. This is going to be something that I need to bring to you guys multiple times. Please, periodically, over the next couple weeks and months, if we're talking about other things, if Riding Hour is doing something and I'm focusing on the city, I'm focusing on Madison County, I'm focusing on the state, or whatever, if something starts going on, we start focusing on the presidential election, as you guys do periodically, Alva, Charlize, Jackie, all of you, like you do, you're all good about this, periodically say, hey, have you heard anything from so-and-so? Have you heard anything more about the Las Vegas situation? Do that the way that you do it with me. That would be great. Stumblefoot. So, you guys do a good job at that. You stay on my ass, I'll stay on their ass. No, David, they're going to the SHOT Show there. It's the shit show here. It's they're the SHOT Show, here the shit show. So that's, yeah, right, Audie? Oh my God. You know it, Alva? So that's what's going on there. Big question. I mean, this is a big, serious question. But I do not want it to get also in the way of the anger and the hurt and the craziness over what's going on with this economic development nonsense, and this solar issue and everything that's going on there. Because that's
I figured it out.
Yeah.
So money from the solar farms goes into edit funds. So they need the solar farms to come here so the edit fund is bigger so they can do bigger trips.
That's right.
There it is. Problems. We've answered all the questions now.
I want to know if we could send them, if there's an economic development, I'd like to know, is there an economic development thing that they could check out down by the Titanic? I won't say anything more. I think everybody gets where I was going with that. It's all fun and games till the lights. Yes. Yes, till the lights get turned on. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. That's exactly right. So keep that in mind. Also remember, tomorrow at 3:30 is the closed door, in the dark, sitting around circle jerk commissioners council meeting. So that'll be fun, and hopefully we'll have information about that. Also, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow is Monday, February 5th. It's a Muncie City meeting, Muncie City Council meeting. We will be live streaming the meeting right here. I will tell you. Give me 1 second here, and I will show you the agenda. Just let you know, there's nearly no topics on the agenda. Give me 1 second here. It's loading. Come on now. Okay. All right. Here we go. Documents. Share. The special meeting tomorrow, it's not a special meeting, it's an executive meeting, and it is all of the commissioners plus their attorney, all of the counselors plus their attorney, and that's it. It's an executive meeting. So 3 commissioners and the council members. That's it. That's all there is. That's all she wrote. No public. No newspaper. That's all she wrote. It's all shits and giggles till somebody giggles and shits. And that is true. It is not on the record. It is an executive meeting. They don't take minutes. They don't take notes. All we got to hope is someone goes home and tells their wife something. Their wife tells a friend. Their wife tells that friend tells another friend. And then that friend calls me. And that's generally what happens by the time they have an executive meeting that ends at 5:30. By 6:30, I know everything that's happened from 4 different sources inside. So there's not been an executive meeting that's happened in Muncie or Delaware County in the last about 6 years that I haven't been able to get the information of within pretty quick order. So I'm happy that they're that way. Come on, damn it. I want this thing to load. Okay, here we go. Delaware County Councilor Ryan Webb said he's going to try to make it, but he doesn't know. I mean, of course, they ask him when to make the meeting. He says a time when he's not working, and then they make it when he is working. There's 6 of 7 counselors work outside of being a county councilman, and the only one that they can't work around their schedule is Ryan. Amazing, right? I'm sure that's just a coincidence. So the Delaware County, or excuse me, not the Delaware County, the Muncie City Council meeting tomorrow will start at 7 p.m. However, there is a public hearing at 6:45. Now, I want to let you guys know this is an interesting public hearing. It is a public hearing for Ordinance 1-24 and Ordinance for Additional Appropriations Fire Department EMS. What's that? It's February. What are they already needing more money for? Well, once we get through that quick public hearing, which citizens can speak, but the council won't talk, I hope to say a few words because I just want to know and I want to hear from them. We'll see what happens. Then the regular meeting will begin at 7 p.m. For those of you that'll watch the live feed, I always tell people this. The public hearing will start at 6:45. We will start that on this channel right here at 6:45. The meeting will conclude as soon as the meeting concludes, the public hearing. But the camera feed will keep rolling. People get on there and they're like, what's happening? Nothing's happening. No, it's just the public meeting concluded, and now they're waiting for 7 o'clock. Instead of closing it and needing to start a whole nother feed, they just keep it rolling. So the meeting will start at 6:45, and if there's no one speaking, the meeting will close within 3 seconds of opening. If there's one person there to speak, it'll last for a few minutes and then it'll shut. If there's 5 people, it'll last for a few minutes longer. But whenever that meeting shuts, they'll shut, and then it will open back up at 7 p.m. Okay, let me tell you. Let me tell you then what happens. Pledge of Allegiance, invocation, citizen recognition, roll call. The appointments to boards and commissions. This should be a pretty packed place because they have a lot of boards that they need to start appointing. They didn't do any of that last time, so it'll be interesting to see what they do. They'll then go into the approval of the minutes from January. They will then go into committee reports. They will then go into ordinances previously introduced, and there are none. So then they will go into new ordinances. That's where they will read Ordinance 1-24, which is the ordinance that was up here. And it is an ordinance for additional appropriations from the fire department. Give me a second, I'll tell you what that is. After that, they'll then come down to resolutions. There are none, so then they will talk about resolutions that are tabled. Resolution 18-23, Common Council, City of Muncie, Indiana Preliminary Economic Revitalization Area. Resolution Real Estate Tax Abatement on JRF Management, tabled on 11/13/23. They'll talk about what they're going to do with that, leave it, bring it off, whatever. Then it'll go into other business, which is public concerns, and the meeting will adjourn. Now, I want to read to you what this ordinance is. Give me 1 second here. Let it load. This ordinance for additional appropriations, an ordinance for additional appropriations, Fire Department EMS. Whereas it has been determined that it is now necessary to add appropriations for the Fire Department EMS related expense. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the Muncie City Common Council, City of Muncie, that Section 1, following the additional sum of money, are hereby appropriated, transfer, and reduced out of the funds named for the purpose specified, subject to laws governing the same. Fund 104 is the Center Township Fund. Department 24 is department titled EMS. They are looking for other services and charges, $250,000. This is for a lawsuit. This is a lawsuit where the city EMS, while working for someone, did a couple things maybe off kilter, and I think it resulted in the death of an individual. Now, that's a horrible situation. That's horrible. It's not good. It's not fun. It's not nice. But it's EMS. Let me tell you, EMS doesn't just be out in the world and drive up to you if you're having a healthy, happy day walking down the road saying, look at the sun, everything's wonderful. And then they don't come and knock you in the head and start working on you and maybe kill you.
The big question here is the city losing its insurance because of this suit?
And the answer to that question is absolutely not.
Oh, huh.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's basically, yeah. And, I would assume that you say that because our neighbor to the south, your neighbor to the southwest, Henry County, they're losing their insurance due to several lawsuits.
Oh,
and
it needs to be, I would guess, significantly more than one.
Well, I would say maybe it's not even the amount, but it's how many, what for, the severity, and if it doesn't seem as though they're making steps to fix the issue.
Oh.
That's what I would say. I'm not an insuranceman and I'm not an attorney, but that's what I would say.
Okay.
Oh, in less than 30 days, too. If you just got like 6 or 7 of them piling up, that's probably a problem.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. That's a good question there, Producer Kate. This lawsuit, I can say this. I don't know anything about this other than what I've mentioned. What I do know elsewise, you won't hear. I will tell you that after a person is dead, HIPAA is no longer a thing. So when you go from being a healthcare patient to being deceased, HIPAA is no longer a thing. So it's just out of respect that I'm not going to say anything more. I will say this. I'm not causing a stink over this. I've been in first responder emergency services long enough to say something, and it's going to make me sound really cold and shallow and callous, and I'm not being. Sometimes shit happens. Now, to my listeners out there that are like, oh my God, I am so sorry to whoever the family member is of this person. And I'm not saying shit happens to reference to your family. It's horrible. It's the worst thing of your life. It's bad. And I'm right there with you. At the end of the day, EMS are not working with normal, healthy patients. You don't call EMS or the fire department or the police department unless there is an issue going on. You know, there are cases where stupid things can happen, and if someone was being stupid, then that's an issue. From what I've heard about this, this seems like it was a terrible, terrible tragedy, a terrible accident, a horribly sad event. And sometimes when bad events happen, go on the flip side, shit happens and the city has to pay up because that's just what happens. This is the perfect example of why insurance is important and why it's important for the city and the county and government agencies to have insurance. And this is the whole point of insurance. So if or when something like this happens, it can be handled. It's not anything like what happened with Henry County. In answer to Kate, didn't MPD have several suits for officers who beat up people and Muncie still has insurance? That's right. It's because they took steps to curb what was happening. Get how that works? It's kind of interesting how that works. Henry County continues just having the same issues with no stoppage. No stoppage. A frivolous insurance claim could bankrupt Henry County. It seems like just insurance companies, it seems like they're already becoming bankrupt. Slowly but surely. Because of Sproles. So this is a horrible situation with what's going on with the fire department. Back the fire department and back EMS. It is what it is. My thoughts and prayers and whatnot for the family, and it is what it is from there. So that's that. And that brings us to the end of our broadcast journey. I do want to let you know that there are a lot of moving pieces with this Delaware County edit economic development nonsense that we were talking about for the majority of the show. I will be digging into it all, and we will be looking at it. I need the voters of Delaware County to act accordingly. We have a chance to remove King from the commissioner's office. We must take this opportunity. It's time for a brand new commissioner. It's time for Stephen Brand. You like that? You like that? That's good. It's time for a brand new commissioner. Stephen Brand, Commissioner of Delaware County. I like it. He'll have to pay me for that. All right, folks. I will see you back here. We will be live streaming the meeting at 6:45. 6:45 tomorrow. The city council live stream meeting will start. And then 15 minutes later at 7, the meeting will start. Hopefully it's not a shit show like the last meeting was. We'll have to see. I don't know. Time will tell. And then we will be live tomorrow as close to 9 o'clock as we can get within a half hour. If we go over, I don't see that happening. I will let you know. Check out. Like the show. Hit that thumb and share the show. Share the show with everyone you know. Spread the word. And see you back here at 6:45 tomorrow p.m. and then 9 p.m. Eastern right back here on the same channel, the Political Spotlight. You guys take care. God bless. Have a good evening and have a great start to your work week. Goodbye.